Hello everyone, welcome back to Bookmakers Reviews coverage of Serie A. It's been a fascinating season so far. Lots of teams have been really in trouble due to a lot of COVID outbreaks in recent weeks, so we have seen some strange results. But the table is taking a familiar shape with Inter top, AC Milan second, Napoli third, and Atalanta completing the top four, but Juventus are starting to build up a bit of momentum too. We have 10 games to break down for this coming weekend's round of fixtures, and I'm your host, Martin Green, as always, joined by my colleague, Matt Lawerence, and we're going to dive straight into it, Matt. We're going to start with Sampdoria versus Torino, which is the earliest game taking place on Saturday. 2 p.m. GMT, 9 a.m. Eastern time. What do you think about this one, Matt? Have you got any leans or bets for the opening game?
Extremely tricky one here. I think it's just a contrast of really what the form is on both sides. I mean, both teams are finding the back of the net for the most part. I know that Sampdoria were shut out against Napoli, but that's happened a lot this season against Napoli, so I wouldn't really take too much into that. Other than that, I mean, they had scored every single match in their last five. And when you look at Torino, they've scored a goal in 5 of the last 6 as well. So both teams have found the back of the net. But Torino's also generally involved with more of the lower scoring matches in this league, as we know. I mean, their last 8 on the road have seen under 2.5. So and Sampdoria's form isn't great. So it's, for me, the best lean that I would offer here is both teams to score, because 5 out of the last 6 for both teams, it makes total sense. I mean, they at least are finding their footing in front of net, but I'm not sure if this is like an extremely goal-oriented match. I don't know if this goes over the 2.5, for example. So, yeah, just a lean, but not enough for me to move the needle to place a bet on it yet.
Yeah, me too. It's a tricky game, isn't it? I mean, both teams to score has only paid off in 9 out of Torino's 20 games so far this season. You're never quite sure what you're going to get with them. A lot depends on injuries. They don't have a great deal of depth when a couple of key men are out. But yeah, Sampdoria are a very open, entertaining team to watch, generally scoring. Only kept 3 clean sheets so far all season, so really struggling at the back. So yeah, that does seem like the most sensible play if you were going to go for it. Okay, next up we have Salernitana versus the mighty Lazio. Although the mighty Lazio weren't quite so mighty last week, but they weren't too bad in losing to Inter. No shame in that, 2-1. Think they can bounce back against Salernitana, Matt?
I love just when you put mighty in front of any team and they just sound just more exciting and more fun. So the mighty Lazio, yeah, they struggled a little bit against Inter, but again, I mean, Inter are really in a good way right now. So yeah, coming up against the worst team in the league, team that's conceded 43 goals this season, 3-0 in the reverse fixture to Lazio. This one's going to be a tricky one. But here's Lazio's dilemma a little bit is they concede on the road. They've allowed 1 in their last 15 road matches. So it's almost like Salernitana might have a shot here, but I mean, they failed to score in their last 4. So that little contrast in styles. Salernitana have lost halftime, full-time in their last 3. For me here, I think this is clearly like a Lazio. You want to have them in some type of a parlay. I think that they're a good parlay piece. They're not overly priced at minus 220. But again, they may concede, so you may need 2. So maybe looking at a Lazio team total, or even going just the straight over 2.5 goals route, which has hit in the last 8 Lazio matches. That's probably where I would leave it. I would go over 2.5.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I would be a bit concerned if I were a Salernitana fan, just because of the way that they've been defending recently. Before losing to Inter, which I just mentioned, there's no real shame in that, Lazio had scored 3 goals in each of their previous 3 games, 3 all against Empoli. They beat Venezia 3-1, and they beat Genoa 3-1. When they build up a bit of momentum, when they get on a roll, they can really cause teams problems in attack. And I think they just might have enough pace and enough quality and enough creativity to open up this, frankly, dreadful Salernitana defence that has already conceded 43 goals in just 19 games so far this season. I have to be on a Lazio win, even though I'm not 100% convinced by them. They've also got a shocking defence, but they're great going forwards. Only 3 teams have scored more times than them so far this season, and I think they could get the job done. So I've given Lazio a -1 Asian handicap for this game. Okay, next up we have Juventus versus Udinese. Did you see Juventus last night, Matt, in the Supercoppa Italiana?
The Alexis Sanchez special in the 120th minute.
It was like watching Arsenal. It was like watching peak Alexis Sanchez in his prime at the Emirates.
Yeah, that was a tough one for Juventus to swallow right there. I mean, that, yeah, and it does go to show, though. I mean, Inter, I think, fully deserved it, even though the U.S. international Weston McKennie got Juventus off into a 1-0 lead. But right now, Inter are the better side, Martin, as we know. So I think that they deserved it.
Yeah, they did. They did deserve it. But I think it speaks volumes about how much Juventus have improved over the course of the season, that they were able to prevent Inter from winning in 90 minutes. I think Inter had beaten their previous 8 or 9 domestic opponents within 90 minutes. So they're a very strong team. I think they're starting to find their feet under Max Allegri once again. Second time, actually, they've drawn in 90 minutes with Inter so far this season. And they're on a long unbeaten streak in Serie A. Now just 3 points behind Atalanta. So they could be challenging for a top 4 place towards the end of the season. Udinese coming off a very, very strange game. They lost 6-2 to Atalanta, but they had 12 players missing due to COVID, and the game was going to be called off. They were put into quarantine, but Serie A appealed and forced the game to go ahead. They obviously lost heavily. They're not happy. They've appealed, but the result stands as it is, and that leaves Udinese in 14th place, just 4 points clear of the drop zone. So what do we think, Matt? We've got a bunch of Udinese players that are recovering from COVID but should be back in time for the game. Then we've got Juventus, who are a bit tired from playing 120 minutes against Inter last night. These teams drew 2-2 on the opening day of the season. What's going to happen in this one?
So, for example, just when we were mentioning, like, you like Lazio -1 on the Asian handicap, I kind of vouched at least for them to win the match, and hopefully Salernitana don't pull off another shocker like they did against Verona. But we know that Lazio are a good side. Here in this match, I think it's the perfect 2-teamer combination. I think that Juventus, like you mentioned, are in a great way. They're in great form. That's almost like this is somewhat of a bounce back match. I mean, just losing in 120 minutes, that's not ideal for fitness levels, especially because Udinese will be rested and ready after this little delay. But I think that this is the play. I mean, I think that it's Lazio, it's Juventus. You can find that 2-teamer still around if you shop around at about +100 or 2.0. So that's the problem with this match for me, Martin, is I struggle to find the combination to include it with. So because I'm just, sometimes Juventus they're lighting it up. Sometimes they can be defensively solid. But I mean, when you do look at the head-to-heads, the best play probably would be to find the overs. I mean, 4 goals their last head-to-head, 3, 5, 3, 4, 4. I mean, they've all gone over the 2.5. So if you're looking at head-to-heads, you probably like the over 2.5 here. For me, it would be in a singles. It would be Juventus and over 1.5 probably.
Yeah, I'm with you there, Matt. I just hate the way the sportsbooks have priced this game up. I just don't think they're giving us any enticing options whatsoever. I mean, yes, Juventus, they're the heavy favourites. I mean, the best you can get on them is like -230 or 250 or something like that. There's terrible odds on Juventus and over 1.5 goals, terrible odds on Juventus and under 4.5 goals. And when you consider that Juve are coming off a 4-3 win against Roma, and Udinese just lost 6-2, it makes it so difficult to predict on the goals front. I really don't think they're giving us any options here. So yeah, perhaps just sticking Juventus in a parlay with Lazio, that's the way to go. If I had to go for anything on this game, I'd probably go for You could stretch it out to Juventus minus 1.25 Asian handicap if you like at minus 110. They probably should get it done, but it seems like the sort of game that they could win by just a single goal. So, I mean, you could also go both teams to score. It was 2-2 on the opening day. Both defences are going to be a bit, tired and in trouble right now. So you could go Juventus to win and both teams to score, but I just don't think they're giving us much here. I don't like this game. Don't like it.
I agree, Martin. Just to include if there is one singles play here that you're trying to find around even money, it's got to be the overs. I know that the last 4 Juventus home matches have stayed under. They've become a little bit tighter and they're not conceding nearly as much. But I mean, this head-to-head is phenomenal, Martin, dating back to 2019. Every single match has gone over 2.5, and it's a pretty large sample size. I mean, that's the last 7. So yeah, I mean, sometimes that just it stays with that, that head-to-head form. And I think that Juventus can get 2. They might concede, something like that. I mean, that's where I would be going, though.
Yeah, no, it sounds good. I do like the Lazio Juventus parlay though. That sounds great. Okay, next up, 2 of my favourite teams. Very excited about this one: Sassuolo versus Verona. And I feel like both of these teams have just sort of taken what Atalanta have done over the past few seasons, copied it, and just gone for it. Both teams to score has paid off in 17 out of 21 Sassuolo games and 17 out of 21 Verona games so far this season. They're just both hugely entertaining to watch, always involved in madcap end-to-end stuff. It's got to be the old artist formerly known as Alex Classic, hasn't it, Matt?
I think so here. I mean, shocking result last week from Verona, though. And to be honest, I mean, they're not really in great form here. I mean, they lose to Salernitana, they scrape by Spezia. Well, they didn't scrape by, but they weren't that comfortable in that match. I watched that one. Verona 1-1 against Fiorentina. And then they've lost to they're not in the greatest form. Let's just put it that way. And Sassuolo, they've been up and down. When they take their chances, they're brilliant to watch. They really are. I've gone with I think Sassuolo are the better side here. I really do. And then when you look at Verona's away record, it's bad. It's not very good. And Sassuolo are in a good way right now. So for me, it's Sassuolo team total over 1.5 at minus 110. I mean, I just love betting, on this team to score, and sometimes they can flop a little bit at the back. I can see Verona and Simeone giving them some trouble too. And I think that both teams are scoring over 2.5 is a fantastic play as well. I just side a little bit more with Sassuolo here.
No, I would agree with that. I think they are generally the better team. They've got more quality, certainly in midfield. But yeah, I can see them scoring 2 or more goals in this game. But yeah, I can also see them conceding because they invariably do. And yeah, despite Verona's troubles recently, they've only failed to score in 1 of their last 7 games, and that was when they had a man sent off after 25 minutes. So I can see them contributing on the score sheet in this one. So yeah, I've gone for the both teams to score and over 2.5 goals.
Can we
talk
on that? Martin, sorry. Can we talk about the plus 700 that almost hit last week and the both halves? And that was a little bit. I mean,
the post.
I know. When it's 1-1 or what, it was 2-1 at halftime, you're sitting there licking your chops, and then I think there was a red card which just killed it.
It was, yeah. That was so close though. That was unlucky. Nice play anyway. Quick interlude, Matt. Derek's asking me for any leans for today's cup game between Liverpool and Arsenal. Obviously, you're wearing your Liverpool shirt for the occasion. I didn't wear my Arsenal shirt because they're still in disgrace after that defeat to Nottingham Forest at the weekend. I mean, if it was the game with the first leg was supposed to take place last week at the Emirates, and I thought Arsenal had a chance in that one because, Liverpool had a lot of players out, a lot of players away. They were tired. They were resting players. Arsenal were in form. But now Arsenal have lost to Nottingham Forest and Liverpool have got key players back and they're well rested now. So I don't know. It depends kind of on the sort of team Jurgen Klopp plays, I think. So it's a lineup check. If he plays all his teenagers, which he has been doing in this competition, he's played a lot of youth players, then Arsenal have half a chance. But otherwise, I fear for them. I'd maybe go both teams to score, maybe Liverpool to win, maybe both teams to score over 2.5 goals. What are you going for, Matt?
Yeah, there's a boost on Bet Rivers that like it's Liverpool to score in both halves and then to win. I don't think it's a very great boost. It's like plus 200, maybe plus 250. I didn't take that. So what I'm going to do here is just when we get off, Martin, let's maybe even for the Bundesliga show, we should try to come up with what our projected lineup is in a sense. And I think that we can get a pretty good gauge. I mean, there's no Salah, no Mane, no Keita, but there's going to be, Jota's going to play here. It could be still Kanate, Virgil, Robertson, Trent. So it is a lineup check, but you want to be like quick to that right when the lineups drop. You want to, I think, if you're looking to bet it, you want to be quick and you want to bet it within 5 minutes of the lineups dropping because the market does move in these cup matches right when they drop. So, I think, the power of Anfield should at least give them a first leg head start. I think it's a 2-1 to Liverpool where Arsenal does grab an away goal and it's completely not done. And do you know, Martin, you know how the Champions League has switched? Have they changed anything for this League Cup where does the away goal rule matter?
Oh, not sure. Put me on the spot there. I'll have to look into it.
I need to look into it too because I know that obviously they've changed it, but I would love to see them still have the older. I'm going to say 2-1 to Liverpool. I think that Arsenal do find the back of the net, and so it's everything to play for at the Emirates next week.
Yeah, I think both teams to score sounds good. Xhaka is going to be a late fitness check. They're not sure yet, not 100% sure. Jota to score looks like a good one. He's going to be their main man in attack. I could see Liverpool just sneaking the win though. It was 3-3 against Leicester in the last round, even though they had, lots of players missing. Second string team still putting a very good performance against Leicester. So check the lineups, but both teams to score looks good. Right, I must get back to Serie A, much as I'd love to talk about Arsenal and Liverpool all day. Venezia versus Empoli. And this is quite an easy pass for me. Have you got anything for this one, Matt?
Very easy pass, but I mean, you have to look at Empoli. I think that they score goals. Venezia don't really score goals. Empoli, they find the back of the net. So I would be slight lean towards Empoli here, but this was an easy one to pass.
Yeah, me too. Hang on, Charlie. Charlie, are you going for Liverpool to score over 3.5 goals? That's a bit harsh. That's a bit harsh. I mean, you never know. I mean, they did beat Arsenal 4-0 last time, didn't they? 6-7 going for Arsenal win to nil. Liverpool win to nil. Yeah, I mean, Liverpool probably win to nil if Nketiah plays because he is dreadful. But you never know. We might bring a few players back. We'll see.
Liverpool Arsenal, but no, I'm only so Empoli, for example, though, maybe your one parlay piece. They've scored a goal in their last 11 in Serie A. They're going to score. So if you want to just try to add on a little something there, Empoli, they find the back of the net here.
Okay, Empoli, good times. Right, we've got Roma, who were quite unfortunate in some ways, I guess, to lose 4-3 to Juventus. Now they're coming up against Cagliari. They're typically strong at the Stadio Olimpico. Think they can bounce back, Matt, with an emphatic win in this match day?
I do, but I still am a bit concerned for Roma. And when you look at the head-to-heads here, it is just goals galore. Cagliari, they score. They've scored a lot of goals against them. They've scored 9 goals in the last 4 head-to-heads against Roma, 10 in the last 5. I mean, so they're averaging 2 goals in the last 5 matches against Roma. And they've been a bit better recently, Martin. I mean, 2-1 victories, the late 94th minute victory. We didn't put it on the picks last week, but if you watched the show, I liked Cagliari on the +1/4, and I liked both teams to scoring over 2.5. We just weren't sure if that one was going to end up going or not, Martin. But They've picked up 6 points in their last 2 matches, scoring 4 goals. And I'm not convinced by Roma's defense at all. And I mean, look at what they've done. 3 goals conceded to Milan. They have a 3-1 cushion lead against Juventus, and it just all spirals out of control. This match is going to be much more competitive, I think, than the odds makers suggest. And both teams to score is the best bet here. This might be the best bet of the week.
Yeah, but have you seen that they've got Ainsley Maitland-Niles in their team? That's all they need. Bit of Arsenal magic, bit of Arsenal stardust.
Where is he going to play? You know, that's where did I wonder where Mourinho is going to deploy him?
He was at right back against Juventus, but yeah, he can go into the midfield. But they've got Veretout and Cristante in midfield, so I think he's going to slot in at right back alongside the legendary Chris Smalling, getting all sorts of odds and ends of English players going into Roma now. Yeah, I just think they've got their forwards back though, haven't they? That Afena John, he looks good. Pellegrini, did you see the free kick that he banged in? He's a talented player. Tammy Abraham's a very good player. Not so sure about Mkhitaryan, but I think they should just have enough firepower to take care of Cagliari in this game. So I'm giving Roma a minus 1.25 Asian handicap here. Yeah, we do. We have an EPL show tomorrow, so tune in for that. But yeah, we've got Serie A left to do, and we've got Bundesliga that we're going to do after this as well. So we're going to move on to what has to be the biggest game in this round of fixtures, Matt. Atalanta versus Inter. Atalanta back to their best, their wild, chaotic best. 6-2 against a very depleted Udinese side. How do you think they'll get on against Inter, who obviously played 120 minutes last night?
Yeah, I don't know who's going to win this match, Martin. I do look at the reverse fixture earlier in the season, and it was a beauty, just a 2-2 classic. A lot of these other head-to-heads over the last few years have been extremely dull, which is interesting when you have an Atalanta side that has so much firepower and Inter on the flip side that has a ton. I'm just going back to it, though. I had a successful bet last weekend with the Inter Lazio, both teams to score in over 2.5, and I'm going to play it again here. I just think that, both of these teams should have plenty to offer in front of net, and maybe Inter are a little bit tired here coming off the 120, but they'll feel pretty good about the last second winner by Alexis Sanchez, and maybe that could lead to a tired defense. So Atalanta should be able to score. I mean, they generally score at home, and Inter have managed to score at least one goal in their last 39 Serie A matches. They're scoring. Atalanta's scoring. It's just a matter of, does this push up and over the 2.5? And I think with these two teams, it should.
I agree. Yeah, I've gone for both teams to score in over 2.5 goals as well. It looks great. I mean, there's been a few dodgy games featuring Atalanta this season when they haven't been their usual selves, when they've just sort of won 1-0, which kind of throws you a little bit. But I think Inter still are going to have enough quality to get on the score sheet in this one. I mean, Correa and Alexis Sanchez came off the bench in the Supercoppa Italiana game, so either of them could start and they'll be pretty fresh. They have a decent squad. They can shuffle the pack for this game. I think they should be able to get on the score sheet against Atalanta, but I struggle to see how they can keep a clean sheet because they're going to be tired. You know, they were running pretty hard. 120 minutes last night. Atalanta have had the week off. Atalanta be full of confidence after banging in 6 goals last weekend. Just got to go for both teams to score in over 2.5 goals here. This is what Milos is saying. Atalanta more rested, have more desire. Ooh, banker. Wow, banker. Maybe. Could be a very difficult game for Inter anyway. Next up, perhaps not such a difficult game. Milan, who are back up to second in the table, they're taking on a struggling Spezia team. Spezia looking very, very poor, although they did win last weekend. But Milan have won 3 on the bounce match. Think they can make it 4?
I think so. It's tricky to find value here, but for me, it would be getting on board with a Milan halftime full-time here. They've won their last 3 halftime full-time. Spezia, they struggle on the road, to put it clearly. I mean, they cannot do the job on the road. But they've gotten the job done though the last couple. I mean, Genoa, they beat Napoli. I mean, so I think that they can still. I think that they're going to be competitive, and I just don't think this is going to be a high flyer either. Like I don't think this is. I think this could be an unders match, but yeah, I would like to think that AC Milan will come out strong in the first half. But I swerved this one, Martin. I really couldn't find a ton of value that I liked.
Okay, yeah, I mean, like you said, Spezia have got a terrible away record, and the San Siro is a pretty intimidating place to go to. AC Milan have got a lot of key defenders missing: Romagnoli, Calabria, Chia's obviously out for the season. So I think they'll go for it in this game. I don't think they can try and grind out a low-scoring win. I think they need to unleash their attacking might upon Spezia. They've got all their key forwards back now, especially the likes of Rafael Leao and Ante Rebic, really good, quick, dynamic players. I think they'll take the game to Spezia, and I can see them winning it pretty comfortably. So I've given them a minus 1.5 handicap on this one. I think they win by 2 clear goals. Penultimate game is Bologna versus Napoli. Quite difficult to know what we're going to get from Napoli at the moment, isn't it? But yeah, have you got anything for this one, Matt?
No, this was a pretty easy pass for me. I mean, maybe trying to get on board with a Napoli and winning it to 0. I do trust the defense, that's for certain. But yeah, this was an easy one for me to swerve, Martin.
Yeah, I really don't know what sort of team we're going to get from Napoli at the moment with the injuries that they have. I mean, and obviously Koulibaly's at the Cup of Nations, Anguissa's at the African Cup of Nations. So many first team players have COVID. Mario Rui, Zielinski's out. Insigne's got an injury. Just very depleted. I don't really like them to go to a well-rested Bologna and win that one. So yeah, easy pass for me too. Final game, Fiorentina against Genoa. What the hell happened to Fiorentina last week? I mean, they lost 4-0 to Torino. Don't think anyone could have predicted that. Do you think they bounce back, Matt, or is that going to have dented their confidence?
Yeah, I think Vlahovic put his transfer request in at halftime on that one.
Yeah, he's coming to Arsenal. He's coming to Arsenal.
Go to the mighty Arsenal.
Watch out. Title over next season. Just give it to Arsenal now.
Maybe Vlahovic has tickets tonight and he's in Anfield, kind of just getting a little scout of the Arsenal side here today. Yeah, that result really just throws me off here. I mean, I don't want anything to do with them after that. I think that is a clear issue when you're conceding 4 to Torino. I know that was the last match. That's not this upcoming match, but that is a huge concern here. And, kind of like what we mentioned in the last match, Martin, we kind of just both pass on the Napoli match. I mean, if we don't like Napoli, I'd say that we would suggest maybe getting on board with even a Bologna, like giving them a goal and a quarter head start, something like that, because yeah, Napoli, that match is going to be tight. And I feel the same way about this one. I think I would rather be in the Genoa camp, which is incredible for me to say because they are really poor as well. I mean, maybe Fiorentina bounce back here. Maybe we look at Vlahovic anytime goal scorer. But again, there's just too many maybes for me here. And I don't want anything to do with this one in terms of a bet.
No, there's far too many maybes. And it's a really difficult time of year at the moment. Bologna have 7 players out with COVID, so we need to see if they're going to come back because it's a lot of their key first team starters, and they've got a few at the Africa Cup of Nations as well, including Moussa Barrow, who was their big signing at the summer. So yeah, it's so hard to know what's going to happen with them. I just want Vlahovic to come to Arsenal. It seems like he wants to make it happen. He wants to join an elite team. Apparently, we're going to sign Yuri Tielemans as well. If we sign Tielemans and Vlahovic, I think I might just cry a little tear of joy, but it's probably not going to happen. We'll probably get someone on loan from the Championship or something instead. Come
on, Martin. Let's be a little more positive. But here's one other thing too. If you like Fiorentina to bounce back, they have been extremely strong at home. Like this is where you find Fiorentina. They struggled last week on the road, but they're unbeaten in their last 6 at home, so they should feel pretty good. And I mean, Genoa, they've only won 1 of 20 in Serie A. 1 of 20. Fiorentina are probably going to have a pretty good opportunity to bounce back here. This is the perfect team to do it against. So,
yeah. Genoa are a weak team. Yeah, no, I agree. Okay, we'll go over to the wizard in the control room, please, for our official picks, and we'll read them out. So I am going to go for Lazio -1 at -133. Both teams to score an over 2.5 goals in that Sassuolo versus Verona game at -120. Same bet in Atalanta versus Inter at -125. Giving Roma a -1.25 Asian handicap at -114. And going for Milan to win by 2 clear goals at -104.
I like it. Yeah, Roma
Thanks.
and Cagliari, both teams to score at -115. Sassuolo team total over 1.5 at -115. And Atalanta Inter, both teams to score and over 2.5 goals at the 1.8 or -125.
Nice. Like it. Thank you very much to the wizard. I've just noticed that it's still Christmas in the Lawerence household, Matt. You still got the tree up. It's still.
Yeah, I should put some ornaments on there. No, I'm just kind of in this. I'm in my other room, so it's just like that's kind of where the old tree goes. I do need to kind of maybe move it to the closet, but yeah, this is my background, Martin. Should I throw maybe a couple of my Liverpool ornaments on there for today?
I just like it. Every day should be Christmas Day. We should keep the festive season going. Okay, thank you, Matt. Thank you to everyone watching in the chat. We've had a great conversation going on in the comments. So thank you very much for that. Hope you get lots of winners in Serie A this weekend. And we're going to be back in 27 minutes with the Bundesliga. So look forward to joining you there.